Well, the old cliche goes better late than never, and that is the case here today at Reliant Park in Houston, Texas, as we get set for the Shell and Pennzoil Grand Prix of Houston. Cars are rolling off of pit lane for the first time.
So they started working on Monday morning getting the track ready. There is a bump that they plan on having grinders come in and grind down beginning at the end of the sessions this afternoon. So in the meantime, what they did is put a chicane so that the drivers will go around that bump in turn number one. That then changes the fact that qualifying will not be until tomorrow. There will be no Firestone Fast 6. It will be a qualifying session both tomorrow and then again on Sunday of 30 minutes apiece. Not unlike what we saw in Baltimore that first year. It's a bump in turn number one, and one that they were not happy or comfortable with the cars going over, and as a result of that, they decided that safety first. They would put the chicane in before they can get a chance to grind that down and get it flattened and smoothed out so that the cars will be able to go over them without any problem.
All of this could weigh very heavily into the battle for the points championship. It's one that Elio currently enjoys a somewhat comfortable advantage of 49 points over Scott Dixon, but you know, Dixon he could pull off the hat trick over the final three races. I think he's capable of doing that.
If you haven't had the opportunity to see the Sarah Fisher Hartman Racing Strike-sponsored 67, it will blow you away, Mark. That is one beautiful race car, and of course, a lot of man hours. We're being told that some 500 man hours went into the paint for this car for this event here this weekend, as I guess Strike is located, an energy company that is located right here in the Houston area.
And you said the key word, which is the reason why it took so long. It was painted. They did not use the shrink wrap that they've used and to wrap that car. It was hand painted. That's the decision that they made to make it pop, and boy, we just saw it roll through the turn, gorgeous. And boy, the sun just dances off that car. It sparkles.
With Tony Kanaan joining Chip Ganassi, but then throw in the extra curveball. They will next year be running a Chevrolet engine. So Tony Kanaan, who won the Indianapolis 500 with Chevrolet with KB Racing in 2013, will be trying to do so with Chip Ganassi in 2014.
Shell Pennzoil, the sponsorship on that car, and of course the title sponsor of this event as well. So a big weekend for Roger Penske and Elio Castroneves.
Yeah, Nick, it's pretty simple. You leave Houston with a 53-point lead or better, and you're going to win the championship because you can't make up, Mark, any more points than that, and that would require, even if you were going to make up 53 points in a single race week on Elio, that would require the three-car not even showing up for Fontana.
His 275th start will come tomorrow. 28 wins, 38 poles, 111 top fives. He's led 128 races in his career. Of the 275 he started, he's led a total of 4,935 laps, 3 wins at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and yet no championship.
Never a championship.
He's never been closer. Never been closer to winning a championship.
Yeah, got a problem in the chicane. It involved Elio Castroneves and the 67, Nick Yeoman. It looks like Joseph Newgarden. What happened there?
Yeah, I can tell you Newgarden was the one that made the big contact with the second chicane, the chicane that's off to the right. Newgarden hit it and launched those tires into the air. Elio was probably, I want to say, 5 to 10 car lengths behind, and he had to lock him up and slide into the tire barriers. Unclear if there's much damage to Elio's car, but I can tell you Joseph Newgarden hit that tire barrier a ton, Mike.
It's 3 rows of tires that are joined together there. Is that right?
That is correct. Yeah, the first row there are 3. For the second 2 rows, though, no, there are just 2 tires each. But it looked like Newgarden cleared the first one, but was not able to clear the second row of tires.
Yeah, and what happened as we watched the replay, he clipped that second row as Mark, it appears the rear end stepped out on him. He caught that second part of that temporary chicane with the right rear, and then the car veered into the inside wall. As though we don't have enough variables to deal with, race 1 tomorrow will start with a standing start, much like we saw at Toronto when the standing start was supposed to be employed in race number 1, wound up being used in race number 2. Drivers are pulling to the front of pit lane, basically to a staging area where they can practice, if you will, their starts, their cold starts, and run through the gears there. So we're kind of seeing a different sort of pit out than what we're normally used to.
the 99th and 100th.
Problem for Ryan Hunter-Reay.
Yep.
Ryan Hunter-Reay has made contact out of the turn 2 chicane as he made contact, Mark, with the wall on the outside.
Justin
and now,
Wilson involved somehow.
Yeah, so Justin Wilson has spun far in front.
That was
and
close.
Justin Wilson was very nearly collected there by the Angie's List car. So, my goodness, that was a very close call as James Jakes nearly made contact.
My goodness.
Wow.
Look at, boy, he got some elevation there. Went over the curbing, did Ryan Hunter-Reay,
Wow.
and he was along for the ride at that point.
Heavens, that car must have been, as we take a look at the replay on the big screen. Well, this is the Justin Wilson spin as he was exiting. It looked like turn number 3, but behind him, it was Ryan Hunter-Reay in the chicane as Mark, the front end of that car, probably got 3 feet of air, and Ryan at that point didn't have a chance to.
You can't do that.
Franchitti, currently P1 in this session, the 4-time IZOD IndyCar Series champions. We mentioned one in Houston in 1998 on the Downtown Convention Center course under kart sanction. Will Power is currently P2 in this session behind Dario, then Tony Kanaan, Marco Andretti, and Scott Dixon, who is currently second in the championship. Got 2 drivers with an opportunity to go to the 2013 season finale with a chance to earn an extra big paycheck because if either Scott Dixon, who won at Pocono, or Tony Kanaan, who won, of course, the Indianapolis 500, if either of those drivers can win the season finale at Fontana, then, Mark, they're going to win 2 legs of the Fuzzies Triple Crown, and that's going to mean, as Vassar just pointed out, $250,000. That's 250,000 great reasons for their chemistry to remain good as Elio Castroneves has spun in turn number 2 coming off the chicane. So Elio Castroneves does not look like made any contact. James Hinchcliffe in the GoDaddy car, which is sporting that bright pink top this weekend, is going to bring out yet another red flag and slow this session. But as he has run through corners 2 through the chicane, now through turn 1, and you'll probably see him approaching you in that bright green and black GoDaddy driver suit as he still has his helmet on and is still in full stride as he's making his way back to pit lane. Race 1 tomorrow. Let's remind everyone, standing start for that race tomorrow afternoon. So as Hinch continues his jog back to you, we should be ready to go back green here any minute. But
Races, Mike, 844 laps, and again, defending series champion and a guy that's competitive week in and week out. And thankfully, finally, Ryan Hunter-Reay has achieved some stability in his racing career and has really, I think, gone a long way toward making Andretti Autosport one of the big 3 again with the success that he's had over the past couple of years.
One at Barber Motorsports Park earlier this season from pole has, and Elio Castroneves a spin once again in the turn 2 chicane. That's the second problem for Elio in that exact same spot. Elio very fortunate there, Mark, to spin that car. He did a 180 but was able to lock it up before he made contact with that outside wall, and the number 3 Pennzoil V-Power Penske entry comes to a stop, and he avoids any damage. Pretty wild ride for our championship leader, Elio Castroneves. His time now winding down, and that might do it for this session. Yeah, that's going
to be a tricky portion of the race course. Even after that chicane's gone, it's going to be a tricky portion of the race course.
And he'll wait for the Homatro safety crew as the red flag will be displayed along with the checker. And that's going to do it for Friday afternoon for the IZOD IndyCar Series here at Reliant Park, as now we get set to go qualifying and racing tomorrow here on this 10-turn, 1.7-mile temporary street course layout.
Qualifying. And right now with the chicane that we have here on the straightaway, we're going to arrive probably 3 times faster than what we're doing right now. So that will be the same for everyone. But whoever figured out that kind of thing will definitely be in good shape. But at this point, I'm just we got to take as it comes, and hopefully they do some grinding so that our cars can be able to run without a problem.
Yeah, you know, it's pretty strange adding chicanes and weird things, and it's pretty accurate. It feels like you're racing in a parking lot. You know, there's just no flow today. Everybody, you know, every sort of 2 or 3 laps, there seems to be a caution. It's really hard to get things, you know, changed on the car and try and figure them out. So, car feels decent. You know, at the end there, just started a couple of laps on new tires and then had reds. So, never really got to find full potential and found a couple of things on the car. But yeah, it's pretty. Hopefully tomorrow, I think taking that chicane out would definitely help. But it's pretty rinky-dink at the moment.